So it seems like I'm getting a lot of views on the post that I put up of me rolling dents out of the bell. I mean, it's getting like 120 something views. I got over 100 views in less than 24 hours. So I'm going to do some more dent removal from bells. So I ended up with this horn here. It's a 1990 Conn 18H Director. Here, take a look. Okay, so this should be a pretty good candidate. It's got lots of damage. Look at that. Holy smokes. Now the rim isn't quite as bad as the uh, Cleveland Superior, but I mean this thing is just mangled. Okay, so I'm gonna mount my phone on my new arm that I bought to put right over my mandrel, and we'll get started. I tend to start on the most outer part of the bell first, and then I work my way up the flare. So we're going to start here. Now, there are some little pits in here that I just am not going to be able to get out because that's a spot that actually flattened and compressed the brass. So it's kind of permanent. If it's just an indentation, I'll be able to get it out. But if it's a scratch or a scar, then that's cutting into the brass, or it's flattened the brass. And there isn't much I can do. I mean, I could buff it down, but then I'm going to thin the whole, make a thin spot in the bell, and that's not going to be good because it'll make the thickness of the bell inconsistent around the bell, and that's going to affect the sound and any kind of future repairs. It's going to make it weak in an area as opposed to another part of the bell area that's not weak. Now when you see stuff like this one right here, this one's popping up this way. So I'll have to go at it from that direction after I get done with these that are going down. The other key is just to go slow. Can't go too fast. If you go too fast and you're pushing too much of the circumference around the peak of the dent out as well. So if you just kind of slow down and work it, then you get a more even reshaping of the metal. This one's pretty deep. I'm trying to take it at a different angle. I don't want to just roll over its side. Now, think of yourself, how did all these dents get in here? Well, one good way for all these dents to get in here is for a kid who's playing this horn, maybe a beginner, like a middle schooler or high schooler, to leave their mouthpiece or a couple mouthpieces loose in the case. That's how. And then the horn case gets jostled around, kicked around, and the mouthpiece is just in there like a loose bullet, just beating the crap out of the horn. And the bell is actually one of the thinnest parts of the horn because it gets stretched so much. So that's what I'm going to treat a little bit right here and see if I can. Now, let's see. Yeah, that's pretty deep. I should have one of those expensive little mallets with the rubber ends on it you can get from J.L. Smith, but I don't because they're expensive. And I don't have a lot of liquid cash right now to buy on too fancy a tool. I get there, they're just not there yet. That was really bugging me. The metal on this bell is actually pretty soft compared to earlier Conn 18Hs and 16Hs and 14Hs made in the 1960s. Why? Because this is brass that came from most likely China. And it's softer than American brass. Now that doesn't make it the horn worse. It just makes it different. When the brass is soft, it absorbs more of the vibration coming through the horn, so by the time it gets to the bell, the sound is just, it's warmer because it's a little bit deader. If this was a nickel bell or nickel plated bell, it would maintain, it would be more restrictive to the vibration and push it out the bell sooner than later. Harder materials don't absorb vibrations as much as softer materials. Harder materials don't absorb vibrations as much as softer materials. So like if I was to take a hammer and tap this, it would kind of go tap, thub, 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 thub. If it was nickel, it would go ting, 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 ting. Well, kind of same thing happens when you're playing the horn. Well, so here's this flare so far. If you recall, this area here was much more dented. There's still some pitting in here. Did I go to school to learn this? No. How did I learn it? I paid lots of money over the years watching some of the best technicians fix my horns. And then I became that annoying kid that just asked a million questions. You know, how come this? Why is that? Why? And before they kicked me out, they would tell me, and that's how I would learn. But before they kicked me out, they'd take my money. So in a sense, I was paying for my education. But yeah, so this section of the bell is much better than it was just a little while ago. Oh, there's a little divot there. Let's see if we can rub that one out from this side. There you go. Okay, now I'm going to get this area up here, and I'm going to use a fixed mandrel, not a rolling one. So say hello to my little friend. Here we are. Okay. And when it comes to some of this, I like to hit it with a rubber mallet first, just to kind of rough it out. Kind of get it closer to round before I start taking my dent roller to it. That way the dent roller doesn't have to work as hard. Okay. I cleaned this. What is that? Cleaned it. hold on. Got something stuck in there. Been stubborn right there. I try not to put too much pressure. I know guys that just go in it real hardcore, but I tend to take more time and be a little more gentle with it because I don't like to make fast, sudden changes to the shape of the metal. I like to make the metal shape change slowly. That just may be a universal concept, right? Instead of jumping into the hot water or the ice water, you just kind of ease yourself in. It's less than trauma. Check around this here. Tell you one thing, doing this kind of work takes a toll on your shoulders. I got to see a chiropractor at least once a week to readjust me and get me all pain relief. And then there's the, you know, icy hot and the Bengay and the hot showers. And, you know, when you're 60 years old, body doesn't recover quite as easily as it did when I was 20. Okay, most of that's out. I think you can see that. You know, it's not quite as bad as it was. So yeah, that's not too bad. Most of that's out. It's still a little rough here and there, but it'll require some more refinement. Got a few little dings in here. I'll get that with a different mandrel. And then, of course, the big problem is this right here. Look at that. Where is it? I can't see the camera. There it is. Oh, jeez. So that's going to be another adventure. All right. Had to unmount the phone and take a look at this, but yeah, this is pretty severe. Really, I wish I knew why damage like this happened and who did it, so I could bend him over my knee and give him the twitch for mistreating this horn that I'm sure new cost somewhere between $850 and $1,500, maybe more, when it was brand new. But why? It's designed to be making music, not noise. Okay, anyway, most of that's all straightened out now. You saw it when it began, and I'll go through the video and edit it, make sure I lose you on the camera angles, and I'll take a few of those spots out and try to keep most of the camera focused on what's going on. But yeah, that turned out better than it was. So And as far as I'm concerned, better than it was is what we're looking for. Because you got to ask yourself about the horn. Is it better off now than it was 4 years ago? Anyway, I didn't want to bore you with it, but I went ahead and I tackled that flat tuning slide. So here's where I got it so far. There's still more work to do on it. Remember how flat that was? So, better. Round again. Anyway, so that's where we are with this part of it. Stay tuned.